Do you believe net neutrality is required? And how concerned are you if it's not enacted?
Well, I do believe it's an important way for ISPs to operate. Whether it's best maintained, because they're neutral today, as best anyone can tell, through regulation, I'm not as convinced one way or the other. But certainly in the next couple of years, I don't think that any firm will have issues with net neutrality. It's really what happens in the long term.
Okay. What do you think of TV Everywhere initiatives, and how do these compare and contrast with Netflix Watch Instantly?
Well, TV Everywhere is frustratingly brilliant because what it does is, say, if you've got your existing cable system, you get all of this internet content for free. And since nearly everyone already has a cable or satellite connection, it completely co-ops essentially the benefits that the internet offers. So, it's a very smart play on the incumbent side. And then it makes us have to work harder to make, well, our movie choosing is even better because of the personalization. But it's quite impressive.
Okay. Although it's not yet that widely rolled out, it's still very early days for it, right?
No, that's true. But when you see the amount of work that's gone into HBO Go or these authentication and all of that, it's got some little kinks, but it's basically going to work where if you subscribe to cable, then you get to access cable on cable and you get to access cable on internet. And it's a really smart play for them of extending what they have. So that'll make it a little bit tougher for us. But again, there's already intense competition for every hour of viewing. So is it dramatically worse? No. But it's a pretty smart play on their part.
You said that Netflix should not be viewed as a bona fide competitor to incumbent cable, satellite, telco subscription services, so it shouldn't really affect cord cutting, Netflix that is. That's true, but still, do you see Netflix driving any type of cord shaving or being a key part of how users might cobble together an over-the-top collection of sources, say with Hulu, iTunes, YouTube, or others filling out their needs?
Well, it really depends on time frame. So, in the next 5 years, we're an adjunct to people with, people get cable to, for all the kids' content, all the sports, all the news, and we only do one part of that, movies and TV shows. And even of movies and TV shows, we only have a subset. Now, over 5 or 10 years, we'll have a better subset of that. And then a lot of it depends on sports. If, ESPN.com or ESPN3 is amazing, over the internet and has, you can control the view and you can zoom through and now you can be in a player's helmet in football and, they might do some amazing interactive things, that's going to drive the sports side, which is, the dominant fraction of cable viewing. On our side, on movies and TV shows, we'll get better and better at it, but it may be that, especially by price point, we're just a supplement. If someone's got a car, sometimes they have a bicycle too. And, it doesn't compete with a car, even though for like any one trip across this, town, maybe they do compete narrowly, but, you have them for different reasons. And, with Netflix, you have it because it's, on your laptop, it's on your phone, it's, it's a broad internet service.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the 28-day DVD window deals that Netflix has recently signed with Warner Brothers, Universal, Fox, and HBO. Can you provide any more detail yet on how these are leading to new streaming content for Netflix with any specificity?
No, it's really, we're focused on the subscription window, really the pay TV window. That's where we can do unlimited streaming, and we see that as our future. So in doing 28-day, it's something the studios wanted. And, it's perfectly reasonable. Think about hardcover books and then paperback. Does a consumer love that? No. But does it make sense for the industry? Yes. So it's kind of like that movie should come out on DVD for sale first for some time period, and then rental is kind of the paperback equivalent. And in doing that, improves the amount of revenue generated on the movies, which then helps more movies get made. So it's really a combination.
Okay. And Starz, with whom Netflix has a deal, has taken a lot of heat from both its distributors and suppliers. Does it concern you that Starz or others in the traditional cable ecosystem might be pressured not to work with Netflix or other emerging distributors for that matter?
No, the only pressure that other firms are able to put on people who license us content is to offer them money, and we have to offer more money in return. I mean, and that's completely fair. It's capitalism. So there's nothing untoward going on. It's simply when there's a new entrant for distribution like Netflix that bids up the prices, and that's why the suppliers like it. Okay, the other distributors aren't as excited about it, but that's a natural process.
Let's talk about the suppliers a little more. You've said often that you want to partner with premium channels like HBO, Showtime, and Epix to be a distributor for them and write them checks each month. At some point, though, as Netflix continues to grow, does it not make more economic sense for Netflix to simply make output deals directly with Hollywood studios for electronic distribution rather than having a premium channel middleman?
Only if that costs us less. So if it were to cost us less, that might make sense. But typically it'll cost us more. So when a paid television licenses from a studio, they distribute on cable and they distribute to us. And so ours and cable's revenue come together to pay the studio. Okay, if we try to get it direct from a studio, we have to pay the whole thing. So yeah, it's exclusive to Netflix, but that's not really our core proposition, and it costs us a lot more. So we're much happier in buying through pay television because they spread the costs of that content across us and across all of cable and satellite, which is a much broader range of distributors than Netflix alone.
Is there not some sort of bifurcation that could happen where HBO, Showtime, Epix, etc. distribute only on cable and then online rights would go to Netflix or other emerging platforms?
Well, one could do that, but today pay television has all those rights. They've paid for those rights. So if they give them back to the studio, they're going to pay less. So, again, whether we buy through the pay television, or buy directed, it doesn't make much difference, But pay television is set up like Stars to distribute broadly, including through Netflix. Then the second part is pay television has two parts of their business. One is aggregating packaging movies, in which case we are somewhat similar, and they're a pre-packager, right? But they're also great content developers, developing things like Stars' Spartacus, which has just been a tremendous breakthrough for them with Chris Albrecht there, or whether it's Showtime and Weeds, or Californication, or whether it's HBO and their long series of hits. So to one degree, they are developers of original branded content. And in that case, we're a pure distributor, right? So there's a natural relationship for us with pay television for the bulk of what is their brand value.
And then wrapping up, Reed, as you know, Ted Sarandos, Netflix's chief content officer, will be speaking on a breakfast discussion panel VideoNuze is hosting in LA on June 15th. If you were scripting Ted, what would be the one or two key messages you'd like to see him convey to the Hollywood community that morning?
We have money to buy content.
Okay, the checkbook is open.
The checkbook is open. I mean, we're trying to develop, new alternatives and new revenue sources for the studios to grow the total pie and to inhibit piracy. We have a big contribution in doing that, and we're willing and able to pay for the content.
And last question, look into your crystal ball a little bit. What are the 2 to 3 biggest changes in the entertainment distribution over the next several years? What do you think might surprise us the most?
It's always hard to tell. I think the internet video will continue to grow, but again, that may not be that surprising at this point. But I think we'll see a lot of success from many firms in growing the number of options.
Okay, this is great. Thanks very much, Reed.
You bet, Will.